So we managed to fix traffic in Belfast, which is amazing. But right here in Dundalk, on this road that heads towards Dublin, traffic is kind of getting worse, and I have some ideas for what we can do about this. And in the simplest sense, it's going to require a few new roads to go in here, because I think part of the problem is we're funneling a lot of traffic down this road towards this main road that goes from Dundalk to Dublin. And so I want to give them options. Now, I'm also thinking I can use this as an opportunity to rebuild this space on the northern side of Mullingar, which is probably not a bad idea. So this is kind of where I want to get started, because this is going to look cool, whereas everything else I'm going to do is going to look a little bit more practical. So that's kind of my thought process here. I think what we're going to do is put a little cut into this roundabout to about there, and that should be fine. I actually want to use this as an opportunity to just level the terrain on this side of the roundabout, just to make sure we have a nice little platform to build what we're going to be building. And this little stretch of road right here should be perfectly fine for what I want to do. Now, my plan, very simply, is to go underneath these train tracks. So we're going to bring these guys back just a little bit. And then what we'll do is flatten all of this terrain to see what exactly we're dealing with. That's obviously not going to be low enough. We'll go a little bit lower here, here, and there again. Is that going to be low enough for what I want to do? Yeah, absolutely not. Let's go further. We'll go down to about there, which I think we're starting to get close to the water with this, which is not exactly ideal. That is probably a little bit too far, actually. So we'll bring that up ever so slightly. We can maybe come up a little bit further to about there, I think is going to be fine. Probably still a little bit too far, but I'm okay with this. I think we can make this work. So what we'll do is grab a nice little dirt road just to get some placeholders in here so we can see what exactly we're dealing with. We're going to want to go to about here, I think. In fact, let me flatten that terrain just a little bit further, and then we'll bring this guy out to about here. Take out these parts, and then very simply, we just need to go over the top of that road is what we need to do with the train tracks. But I think what we'll do is flatten the terrain on either side. In fact, you know what? Let's bring the terrain level with the tracks for a second, and we'll just do that either side of the road. So we have something nice and even. If we flatten down the middle of the road, we should have even spacing roughly on either side, which should give us a nice even bridge over the top of the road. And then we can go in, we can put the tracks back in here. And I'm thinking we go for something like this guy. Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping for something a bit fancier than that. I was hoping it was going to do the whole thing, which apparently doesn't want to. This looks okay, though. I think that's going to be low or high enough for me to get away with. I really did want something fancier, though. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping for something that would have a bit more style to it. Maybe what we do then is flatten the terrain a little bit further to either side of this road. We'll sort of have the left side of that square hug the middle of the road right there, and we'll have the right side of the square hug the middle of the road right about there. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. The only problem is obviously dirt road, not big avenue. So let me swap out that little dirt road for a 6-lane country road, and then we're going to see if this is still possible, and it is, which is amazing. So we'll go ahead and build this. It doesn't go parallel by default, which is totally fine. We'll turn off our parallel tracks in the bottom right and do something like this, and I think that looks okay. I think I can work with that. Now, what I would like to do is once again grab my little dirt road here, and we're just gonna put a cut on this road right about there, I think. And I'm hopeful that I can somehow connect these guys together in a way that's going to make sense. This as well, I'm relatively sure I can cut that out. And then we can go in and do a little something like, let's see, can I grab from here? Let's try and grab it properly from there to there. I think that looks okay. And then all I need to do is grab these guys and connect them together as well. Now, this is the challenge. This is the tricky part that I'm not so sure about. This is the part I don't know if I can do, but we're definitely going to try. We'll go for a little road like this. That's not what I'm looking for at all. That's not ideal. If we take that part out though, and sort of come around like this, I can kind of work with that. I can kind of see that working. If we swap it out for 6 lanes, it is not possible. Do I need to flatten out this terrain? Is that the problem? I'm really hopeful. In fact, I think it's this part is the problem. If I do that and then bring it down, that's what I'm looking for right there. That's just going to be better for traffic, right? We don't have a level crossing here anymore. We can smooth this out just a little bit and it looks so much better. And I'm going to be honest, I'm slightly tempted, instead of connecting to this roundabout, to just go straight across here and bring all these roads up, because there's really not that much traffic going on. And what we can also do is connect it to this road and upgrade this entire road going to Dundalk, which might be a really good idea. So let's give that a shot. Let's go ahead and take out a bunch of this infrastructure that we built a very long time ago. It's going to mess with a little bit of my traffic, but that's honestly not the end of the world right now. All of this needs to go. This entire little loop up here needs to go away as well. This road is going to stay, but this guy is going to come over and connect into all of this. So this actually needs to go away as well. And this needs to go away because it needs to become a road that's, well, I guess we still want to connect to this facility, right? That's probably still a thing we want to do. But my goal is basically to go from down here, if I can grab that road, which I totally can, to this guy. Now, I don't know that I want to do that by tunnel, although it looks like it's going underneath the train tracks, which is really interesting, actually. That's kind of cool. Do I want to do a tunnel here? We totally could. We could just sort of elevate it though and see what happens if we just keep bringing this up. Eventually we are going to get a bridge here. We could totally do a bridge there, or we could just smooth it out and not worry about it. I'm honestly not too sure. I think we'll keep it visible because I think it's going to look interesting. We'll turn this into terrain, which has given us a tunnel again, which, again, I'm not totally against the idea. It does look like we're sort of cutting away a tunnel that already exists, though. So physics-wise, not 100% sure how this works. Bring this up a little bit. That looks like it might be messing with the tunnel a bit less, which is good. I think I'm okay with this. A little bit expensive, but I think I'm okay with this. Now, when it comes to the rest of this road, it all needs to be brought back. So we want to make sure that we're pushing my vehicles back in the process here. We are going to want to stay connected to this facility though. So bring all of this right back to here. And I think we're going to go down to a 4-lane road because I think that's going to make a little bit more sense. We want to go to right about here, and that is connected, which is fantastic. And then I guess we just sort of come down and into there, and that seems fine by me. So now we'll just bring this road through a little something like this, and I'm okay with that. I think we go ahead and upgrade to 6. Oh, it would autosave, wouldn't it? Every single time. It's been so long with this autosaving. You would think I'd get used to it, but I never do. And there we go. This is phase 1 of my little plan to improve things. Obviously, some of these trucks need upgraded, but this is a decent first step. Now, phase 2 of my solution is going to involve putting another road into either this intersection or one a little bit further up, because a lot of this traffic coming down towards Dundalk is wanting to head over either towards Mullingar or towards Dublin. So just giving them options to do that doesn't involve going down to this main road is going to be a good thing. And I think what we'll do is use this little intersection here because that seems like a good idea. Now, I think what we'll also do is go in here with, what do we want to go for? I guess a roundabout is going to have to do the job. I'm going to go for a pretty decently sized roundabout though, possibly one of the bigger ones we've done in a while, just because I want to be safe about it and I want to be careful about it. So we're going to flatten the terrain around this intersection as best we possibly can. A little something like that should be fine. I'm not too sure if that's going to end up actually with a flat roundabout because the roads are elevated and things like that, but we'll do a little something like this. And then I think that is huge. I think what we'll do is put a new intersection right back here. So we're going to go for something a little bit asymmetrical here. I think this guy. We're going to head out sort of in this direction. And I think that'll be okay. I think that's enough of a run up towards this road that I think we can make that work. And then, oh God, that's the frames when I zoom out are really, really struggling. We're going to come out of here. A little something like this. I think we'll bring that down ever so slightly. So it's a little bit more level as we're coming out. And then I just want to run those together. So just a little something like this should be totally fine. And that gives us a roundabout, that gives us another way for these guys to go that doesn't involve going down towards Dundalk. Now, to make this roundabout work properly, we are going to have to mess with some of the lane math. I'm also going to go for 124 mile per hour highway road on the roundabout so traffic moves really quickly, because I think that's going to be a good thing as well, if a little bit silly. And then I guess to make this work the way we need it to, I kind of need to go with a weird amount of asymmetry on these roads. I don't love the fact that I have to do this, but to get the one dedicated turning lane coming off of that roundabout, this is unfortunately what I have to do. So I think just to make it look a little bit neater, we will go through here and we will come out right about here, just a nice sort of straight line to there, take out the middle part, and then somehow, some way, we'll connect these guys together. And it's not gonna look perfect. It's gonna look silly, but this is just how we get the lane math. This is just apparently how Transport Fever likes to do things. So we'll bring this forward to here. We'll bring this around to here, and we will hit that all with a nice smoothing brush. And hopefully that is going to take some of that traffic away and make things a little bit better for us around Dundalk. But of course, there are always other options, which sort of brings us to phase 3 of this plan, which is Dundalk itself. Now, this road right here, I want to say we could take it out and then connect it to this intersection. I want to say this road could run the entire way down to this coastal road, which would give us more sort of general access through the middle, or well, to the side of Dundalk, which I think will be good. So that's kind of what I want to do. Or we just take out this road and run this one straight down. But I like the idea of moving this intersection along so we have a little bit more room in here. And so I think that's what we're going to do. This is going to involve getting rid of a lot of buildings in here, which isn't necessarily ideal. And it's going to mess with a lot of my traffic, which also isn't necessarily ideal. But I'm hoping for good things out of this. So we'll go in, we'll get our 6-lane road, and we're going to do just a little stretch of road right about there, which is nice and level. We are going to do a little stretch of road right about here, which is relatively level. And then can I just get a nice bend? I totally can. I like that. I do. I like that. I think that looks totally fine. We'll hit it with a smoothing brush as we usually do. And I think that's fine. I think that'll work just fine. It gives us a bit more room in here, which is great news. And then this road, I want to say it should go up to having four lanes on it. And I want to say that maybe this road goes away. I want to say this road goes away. And I want to just bring this guy straight down through the middle to that coastal road. We can, of course, put that bus stop back on there as well, so it's still functional. And that seems fine. If anything, I'd say this road can go too, because it's maybe a little bit close in terms of intersections there. And that gives us just a little bit more room for traffic to come down through here, which I think is going to be a good thing. And just to make sure the traffic behaves, we're going to just lock that road and make sure the entire thing is mine. And you know, I'm also thinking we could do something similar down here. Now, we do have some waypoints, which are being used by Dublin Food to City right now. So we're going to pin this guy, and I'm going to build a couple more waypoints just to make sure that things work out the way I want them to, just on either side of this. We're going to manage that line and say that before waypoint number 6, so after waypoint number 8, we want you going there. And then we're not doing waypoint 6 anymore. And then after London Road, we want you going to there and not to that one anymore, because those guys are going to go away. Because I sort of have an idea, and my idea is very, very simple. I want to build a little road right here, and I want it to be relatively flat, which that sort of looks to be now. And then I want to connect it to this roundabout, which I want to say should probably be bigger. So let's take this roundabout out of here for a second. We'll bring this road back as well. We'll bring these roads back as well. And we're going to just try to get a really, really nice curve in here. So we're going to go from this spot all the way around to there. And that is so much better looking. This guy is then going to come back. It is going to run straight through here. We'll take all this out again just to make sure we get a nice sort of even slope up to that road, which it looks like we did. And then we'll hit this with a flatten tool as we usually do to give us a nice pad to work with in terms of building this new roundabout, which I'm going to say is going to go up in size again to 50 just because I can, just because I'm kind of curious at this point to see how it works. We'll put it right about there. Take out, well, we'll not take out that middle part just yet, because actually what I want to do is continue this road straight through, and that's going to be the part of the road that connects over to this guy, which isn't a tunnel, and I'm sort of okay with that. Could it be a tunnel is the question that I have. Should it be a tunnel is maybe the question I should be asking. I want to say probably should be, just because we're getting rid of a lot of the terrain right there. So I think that's going to look a little bit better. I think that's what we're going to do. It has slightly messed with the road down here, which isn't ideal. But with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of smoothing, we get a pretty decent looking roundabout, a pretty decent looking tunnel. And all we have to do is mess with the lanes just ever so slightly to make it that little bit better. So what we'll do is swap this out for something asymmetrical. We will do something asymmetrical right there as well. And then obviously the roundabout itself, we'll go for that super fast road just to see what happens. And I think that looks fine. I think that looks pretty good. We'll make sure this is all locked, so it is mine and mine alone. That way the towns themselves don't mess with these roads. And I want to say this road down here could probably also do with an upgrade to have just a few more lanes on it. We'll have this sort of go to here perhaps, and then on the Dublin side we'll have it sort of come down and through maybe to about that spot. Should be fine. This main road through here could be upgraded, but I think we're okay. There's not that much traffic using this lower road. I don't think this road's going to be too busy either, so I think this is fine. I think the bigger roundabout is going to be good for us, and I'm hoping that this sort of new road build over here and this little back road is going to help filter a lot of this traffic. Now, in other news completely, the OMA construction materials plant is very close to leveling up again, which is amazing news because that's going to keep the little quarry that we have down here leveling up as well. Now, this place is producing 400 rocks right now. My line here can move 422, which is fantastic. Although, well, it might be struggling a little bit with some of this traffic. I would imagine that'll be less of an issue once this traffic sort of filters through and does its thing, which is going to be held back slightly by the fact that a lot of the traffic is sort of stuck together here after I moved and sort of deleted this road for a while. So we are kind of dealing with that, which is obviously a bit of a problem, but in time, I'm hoping for some good things here. I'm hoping that Londonderry gets all the bricks that it needs. I'm hoping that Belfast gets all of the bricks that it needs. And honestly, Belfast is looking all right. It's definitely looking all right, and that makes me quite happy. All right, so I mentioned in the last episode that I do want to focus on growing Belfast and trying to meet most of the demand that Belfast has for different items. Now, the one thing we haven't done so far is figure out goods for Belfast. Now, it is the fourth item that Belfast is looking for, which means that the location wanting goods is going to be relatively compact, which is largely in here, which is kind of amazing news because that's covered entirely by this one little truck depot. So if we can provide goods to Belfast, it's going to be relatively straightforward. The only problem is our goods factory is here. It is a little bit overloaded with steel and it's struggling with plastic. Now, the reason it's struggling with plastic is because most of the trucks that are trying to move plastic are, well, oil, are stuck in traffic. They're stuck in this traffic, the traffic going through Castle Bar. Now, I have made some small changes. I have specifically come down and taken out the road that connected this sort of highway to this road, and that will eventually allow some of this traffic to filter through, but it's not really going to solve the problem. Now, thankfully, what we have is this facility right here. This is where all of our oil is coming and going from, or, well, the processed oil. We have the crude oil coming in here at a rate of $7.94 with some pretty old trucks. So if we manage these vehicles and swap them out for some new trucks, that gives us a rate of 1134, which means we can manage these vehicles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them can be sold. And that brings us down to 931. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them can then be sold. That brings us down to 806. So that's perfect. If we look at this line specifically, we can see it does get stuck in a little bit of this traffic, but for the most part, it's doing okay. This line is not really getting stuck in traffic all too much, and that's kind of a good thing. That's kind of what we're looking for. It's bringing the crude oil over from Dublin to Mullingar. The problem is this guy, the oil to plastic line. Now we're going to upgrade to some better trucks, which gives us a slightly higher rate. But if we look at this line, we can see it comes out, it gets stuck in traffic instantly because it's going through Castle Bar instead of around it, which is admittedly a valid option, especially given that we have this roundabout up here, which is still going to have some of these guys stuck in traffic unless I was to send them sort of this way, which, yes, the roundabout's still busy, but this might solve some of my problems. So if I add a waypoint to here and here, we manage this line and say that at Galway sidings, you're going here. After Castle Bar, you're going here. We can now look at it and it goes pretty much around all of the traffic that's slowing it down. The rate is now 623 from 200 and whatever it was before. That's much better. That is so much better. We're going to put 2 more vehicles on this line to bring that up to hopefully 800. That brought it. Wait, I sold 2 vehicles. Hold on a minute. Wrong button. Let's bring that back up a little bit to hopefully 800, 692. That's not anywhere near as high as I thought it would be. But honestly, that'll be fine for now. We can totally work with that. And what we're also going to do, just to help things along a little bit, is put some asymmetry right there so that the trucks actually have a lane to go to specifically when they're going left or straight on, which I think makes sense. We'll bring that asymmetry back here just a little bit because I think it's going to look kind of cool to have that asymmetry and let the trucks kind of do their thing as they come in here. Now, hopefully, that's going to massively improve our plastic production. It should massively improve our plastic production. The only thing we'll need to do is make sure that the trucks bringing the plastic to the goods factory are also upgraded. Now, if we look at the rates on this, it is 1-to-1. So if we're bringing about 700 oil in here, we want to be moving about 700 plastic as well, which if close to 600 is good enough for me. Although, you know what I'm thinking? Just because there are so many of these trucks stuck in traffic here, I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to go to this line, manage vehicles, select all of them but one, sell all of them, and then we're going to go through and basically buy all of those trucks again, because I think having these guys come out of a depot somewhere is going to be better than having them. I think this is genuinely going to be faster than waiting for these guys to get out of that traffic. I really do. I really think this is going to be a faster process. So if we just select this vehicle, it is right in here, assuming it doesn't get stuck in traffic horribly, which it might. I still think this is going to be quicker than having it sort of work its way through all of that traffic. And just while we're here, I'm wondering if it would be an idea to, of course, I start talking and the game instantly autosaves. I'm wondering if it would be an idea to turn a lot more of this into a series of one-way roads. I think it might be, I genuinely do think it might be a good idea. Now we do have the Castle Bar loop coming through here, which is admittedly doing some weird things. And I don't really know what it's doing there. So stops number 2 and stop number 11 now can sort of go away there. Castle Bar loop number 1 is very, very odd, but we can get rid of those stops. We can turn this into just a one-way stretch of road. And I'm hoping for good things from that. I'm hoping that lets it sort of flow around a little bit. Not really too sure what's going on there with that loop. It is really, really odd. And honestly, we could maybe redo that loop entirely. I am sort of feeling like the Castle Bar loop number 1 could do with a bit of a revamp. Is this all just loop number 1? It looks to me like it is. That one was, yeah, loop number 1 as well. Okay. Let's redo loop number 1. Just while we're here, we will redo Castle Bar loop number 1, because I think part of the problem with Castle Bar is public transport. I think we're definitely struggling with public transport in here. So taking out all of that seems fair. We'll take out all of these little bus stops around here because I think that's going to be fair as well. And that seems fine. So what I'd like to do is come out of this place and we're going to try and do the same kind of loop that we've done before. So we're going to come out of this stop. We're going to hit, I want to say, this hill. So we're going up here. We're going to hit, say, here as well. And that covers sort of that neighborhood really nicely. We're going to come sort of down and around. This is probably really close together, but that's all right. So we're hitting this space. I then want to come down onto this road because, again, it gives us a nice bit of coverage in the middle here, which I think is great. We can continue sort of over to this space, which gives us, again, pretty good coverage in that neighborhood. We'll continue a little further to maybe this road, which is a little bit closer to the edge of things than I would like, but that's all right. We'll go, I want to say, down here as well for some pretty decent coverage. And then we're going to go sort of up around. We'll hit this one stop and we're going to loop back is what we're going to do. And that does miss out on a little bit of this area in here, which I don't necessarily love. So just because I want to make sure we have decent coverage, let's do here and here as well. And then very simply, we need to follow that path. So we're going to be adding some stations. We want to go up this hill, which we're doing. We want to continue up this hill, which I think we're doing. And then it was around, which again, I think we're doing. It was down to this guy. I know I've just done this and I should remember this path, but I'm sort of winging it here. I'm not 100% sure on what I'm doing, but I think this is the right way. It was out to here, which again, for some reason, the game loves to go in the wrong direction. That's all right. I don't remember if it was around there. I want to say it was up this way. I don't know what is that stop? That stop's not being used. So that stop can go away. We'll go back to our lines. So after 7, it was out this way, which is great. And it was continuing down to this guy, which is also good. And, oh, wait, no, never mind. I know what that stop was for. I know exactly what that stop was for. That stop was actually quite important. That stop goes here. And then this is how we loop back on things. That makes perfect sense. And there we go. This is our new Castle Bar loop number 1, which I'm hoping to do good things with. I'm also thinking we're going to swap out for the Volvo buses because they're a little bit cheaper and a little bit smaller, and we don't have that many people going around here. So hopefully that's going to be good for us, especially with this new sort of one-way road going through here, which, by the way, I'm sort of thinking this is going to be a one-way road as well. So this is going to be a one-way road going out and a one-way road going in. Hopefully that's going to be good for Castle Bar. We could do this as well, which I think is totally fine. I think this little road should be upgraded just a bit because it seems like kind of a main road now. This road should be fine. And then I'm tempted to make some changes here. I'm tempted to say, because this currently is a one-way thing, I am tempted now to let traffic go both directions on some of these roads down here. I think that might be a good idea. just to allow for a bit more traffic flow. I'm not sure if it's a great idea, but I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. In terms of this road, I think we'll go asymmetrical, and I think that'll be okay. This road, I want to say, can just sort of have, well, maybe it should have 6 lanes. Would that make more sense? I don't know if that does. I really don't know if it does make sense to have that many lanes, especially with the mess that we have going on here. So you know what? We'll keep that a little bit smaller just so it behaves, and we'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes. Traffic can now take a sharp left here and go straight down if it wants to. I have no idea if that's going to be good, but hopefully this does something for the traffic in Castlebar, which has so desperately needed something to be done about it for a while. I really have no idea. But at the very least, my plastic production should now increase, which means that we could, if we wanted to, set up some trucks to go to Belfast with some goods, which I think I want to do. So let's create that line. I'm not expecting it to do amazing things anytime soon, but I like the idea of getting some goods into Belfast. So this will be road cargo. It is Belfast. It is goods to city. And just because it should be, we're going to make it a red line and put it on platform number 4. And of course, we already have the infrastructure in Belfast. We are putting it right in here, which is going to be platform number, oh God, are all the platforms used on this thing? Are we good? We actually are. It's going to go on platform 2, which is amazing. So let's manage this line. At Mullingar, you are doing nothing but loading up on goods. In Belfast, you are unloading the goods, and we just need some trucks now. Now, admittedly, I'm not expecting this to do anything amazing anytime soon, but I'm still excited about it. I'm definitely still excited about it. We'll get ourselves some of these trucks. We'll go for 2 of them, and we will do bright red, and of course, Belfast goods to city, and away they go. So that's a thing now. That is a thing that we're doing. We have goods technically ready to be delivered to Belfast. We just sort of need to figure out the plastic situation. Oh, now this is exciting. We have our first truck coming down here to pick up some goods to take them back to Belfast. And we do have goods waiting in here for Belfast. Those 4 boxes on the right are heading up to Belfast. So while we're not filling this truck, this is still pretty good. And we can also see in the background that one blue truck right there, that guy's taking some oil over to be turned into plastic. So hopefully goods production is really going to take off here shortly. All right, so I want to come away from all of the road stuff for a second, and I want to look at some of the trains that we have going around here, because we still have these old trains taking planks from Belfast, turning them into tools down here in Limerick, and then taking tools back to Belfast, which is great, but it's not the most efficient thing that we've done, and I think it could be better. So we're going to go through and we're going to upgrade a bunch of our tracks to, well, they don't really need to be high speed. They should be, but more importantly, they should be electrified, because I'm not 100% sure that all of my tracks are. As we can see in here, they most definitely are not. Now, the reason we want to do this is because I'm kind of thinking it's about time that we make some upgrades to some of our trains, and to get sort of the most out of what I want to do, we kind of need all my tracks to have electricity, which is not as expensive to do as I thought it would be, but it's still tricky, and I just wish there was a button that made it easier to do this. I really hope there's, if I had one thing for Transport Fever 3 that I hope that it does, it's just make some stuff easier. Give me buttons that just sort of automate certain processes. It's always been really tedious to go around, especially if you've built like a railway empire in your game, in your save. It can be a nightmare. I mean, I don't have that much in the way of trains around here, but I know I've had runs in this game where I've had tons of them, and it's a nightmare to go in after the fact and upgrade things. So I really hope that's something they kind of they do with Transport Fever 3, is make it a little bit easier to manage. Now, when it comes to these trains, I do want to see how long they are in this station. Does the station, can I see what the length is of this station? Is that a thing we can see? It doesn't seem like it is. Although these trains fit really comfortably in here and they fit pretty comfortably in the Limerick station. So we're going to go to this one. We're going to manage this vehicle and we're going to basically swap it out for something better. Now we do have the option of the BR-103.1, which is hugely powerful and, you know, it's a good train. The BR-185 less so, but also a little bit cheaper, which is kind of what we're looking for. The wagons, we can go for these guys. They do 99 miles per hour, so there's not a lot of point in going for something that can do 124. So I think we're going to give this a shot. Now, the capacity in this guy is 156. That is 6 flat cars with side stakes, 6 box cars. We can go in here and let's just see what this costs. So we're moving planks. Let's go for this color, I guess, on the locomotive. These flat cars with side stakes can be the same thing. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. And the box cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. 240 capacity, same number of wagons, 39.2 million for this guy, 277 meters. I hope that is enough. That is actually, it does fit in this station, which is perfect. So it actually looks really good too. I really like the look of that train. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty good looking is what that is. And it should fill up relatively quickly. What are you loading up on here? I've used the right cars there, right? You're supposed to be loading up on planks. There you go. Okay. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to, but no, we seem to be good, which is absolutely perfect. So it's going to load up really nicely on 120 planks and then basically head out and do its thing. So if I was to manage these vehicles, I mean, if we look at the line, the rate is 762. So that is just, that's the overall rate of what this can move per year, 762. We are producing just shy of 400 planks, which is the highest this thing is going to be able to produce. So I want to say that we could go in here, manage these vehicles. I'm going to sell the old ones, which brings the rate down to 321. And I'm going to put one more of these guys on here, which gives us 641. So a little bit expensive, but I think it's going to be worth it because we're still moving a ton of goods here. And it's hopefully going to be a little bit faster than what we had before. We should end up without a surplus of logs here or planks here, which is honestly okay. When it comes to the fuel situation, it's 517 on the fuel, which is Belfast fuel to Mullingar and Limerick. Where is that? What are we doing with this again? How does the fuel work around here? It's been a minute. Belfast fuel to train, tools to docks. So the fuel is coming in. Okay, we don't make fuel. Yeah, we don't make fuel here, do we? We're making the fuel over in Liverpool and bringing it across. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So what's slow here? Fuel to docks is still using 77-year-old trucks. That makes sense. This guy is making 800 fuel. So let's look at these trucks and let's maybe upgrade them a little bit for something a little bit better. This line has a rate of 743 right now, and it is now 1,592. So yes, I want to say we can maybe get rid of just a few of in fact, you know what? All but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these are going to be sold. And that gives us a rate of 218. Duplicate for hopefully 436, roughly. That is 436. And duplicate again for 872 is roughly what I'm expecting from this, if my math is correct. We're looking at 873. That's fine. If we sell one of these, that brings us down to 829. That is totally fine by me. So fewer vehicles on the road, still moving the same amount down to the docks. Traffic down this way, not too bad, which is great. And fuel to Belfast is 615. Do we have any better ships that we could use for this? We probably do, right? We have the tanker towboats. That's probably much better. And then these guys, we also have the Merlin. We have the Viola, which I think is what we're using. The tanker towboats move 110 more. So I think we're going to go for that. This is just fueled Belfast. We want the rate to be roughly 898 is fine, but we'll sell one of them to bring that down. That gives us 813. That's totally fine. So that's all right. I think we can work with that. We have a bunch of ships waiting to come in here, but that should be good. Then when it comes to machines to Belfast, we have these guys. Let's manage those. We'll swap those out for the regular towboat just because we can. Oh, and I guess while we're here, we have got some 117-year-old. We have some 117-year-old trucks that are bringing oil down this way. That's amazing. I kind of want to see what happens here. What is the rate going to be on this? 3,955. Oh my God. Okay. Sell all of those but 5. That gives me a rate of 651. Give me one more of those. And 781. Give me one more of those so that we keep the 800 or the 900 on that. So that that's amazing. I love that so much. We have some, I mean, look, we've had some pretty old trucks in here. I don't think we've had any 117-year-old trucks. Wait a minute. Hold on. What age are you? 107. Close. That's still really bad, but that's, you know what? That's it's ridiculous. Oh, that is so ridiculous. How many vehicles are on that line? 12. Okay. Sell all but 2. We were looking at 155. Swap those out. They're just moving bricks. So it's going to be these guys. And 2 of them gives us 100. Give me one more. And that should give us 150. Give me one more for 200. And that'll be fine. Now, coming back to Belfast, our first delivery of goods is finally about to arrive, which has taken forever. It really has. I hate how slow this game is running now that we're, it's 2003. It's rough. It's really, really rough. We're not in a good way, but I am curious to see how much money we're going to make for delivering 4 goods to Belfast. Hopefully something good is going to come out of this. 54,000. Ooh. Well, you know what? It could be nothing. It's not nothing, so I'll take it. That's fair enough. So just while we were on the topic of upgrading trains, I've also upgraded the trains on the fuel line that goes down to Mullingar and Limerick. Now, this cost a lot of money, which is why we're down below $100 million now. But this line has been making money for a while, so having these guys each able to move 300 units of fuel is actually going to be really good for us, and hopefully that's going to continue to make a ton of money. We do have a lot of fuel, or did have a lot of fuel waiting in here, and we still sort of do, so I'm kind of okay with this. I don't think it's the end of the world if we go ahead and upgrade some of these guys. We do still have a ton of planks waiting in here, so here's hoping for some good things. We have this guy coming through, which is our Limerick food to Belfast line. It is not making money, which is really concerning, actually. I'm not 100% sure. Is Belfast getting much? Wait, why are we bringing food to Belfast? Hold on a minute. So the food, wait, where's the, oh wait, no, it's going to Dublin and Dundalk. Why are we doing this again? Those lines don't make money either. I don't quite understand. Hold on a minute. Why? Just in with I guess it was, wait, no, I genuinely don't understand why it was. Why did it make more sense for me to bring food from Limerick to Belfast and then by truck to Dublin instead of just by truck from Limerick? I guess it was quicker when I made that line. I mean, there is a ton of traffic between Limerick and Kilkenny, so it's not like putting a truck down here is gonna be all that useful, but I don't entirely understand. I don't entirely understand why I haven't necessarily gotten rid of any of that in ever. I'm really, really confused by that, to be quite honest with you. It's a really, really weird little setup that we've got going on there. What I will do is upgrade some of this road, and I'm going to upgrade some of this road while we're here, just so we have a little bit more capacity on that road coming out of Waterford. This road going into Kilkenny, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about it unless I sort of go out and around this mine in a way that's going to look kind of terrible, which is basically what I'm going to do, because we do need to upgrade the capacity of that road. So just to try and solve this little traffic nightmare, that is what we're going to do. So looking at this guy, we basically would want to go there with this road, which is fine. We then want to sort of come down to that intersection, which should be relatively doable without it looking absolutely terrible. We'll bring this out a little bit and then just do something like that. And I think that looks okay. And then for this guy, we'll bring this back. We'll bring this sort of out and around. It's not perfect, but it's also not the end of the world if this is sort of how this is going to look. This road can go away. And I want to say that the rest of this can maybe be turned into a bit of a country road just for a bit more speed through there, which probably makes sense. So hopefully that's going to help things along a little bit with traffic down here. It gives them some options, which is always going to be a good thing. Hopefully it helps it filter through a little bit. And then, you know, maybe eventually we can use trucks to bring food from Limerick to Dublin. We have a lot of food waiting to go into Limerick here with some... How old was that truck? How old are you? Wait a minute. 111. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, traffic down in the south of Ireland is rough across the board. It's really, really bad, which we do need to do something about, but it's a whole project. It's a whole thing. And I still want to focus on Belfast for the most part, so it might never be good, unfortunately. Now, just while we're here, there are some passenger train lines that are making money around here. Mullingar to Limerick is making money. Belfast to Mullingar is making money. Belfast to Mullingar actually is using a... What is this guy again? This is the wait, is this... What is this? A class... Hold on. What are you... It is a multi-unit, right? We're using a multi-unit diesel. The Intercity 125 is what we're using here, and it's doing pretty well for itself, all things considered. We do have some other options, but I want to say that the Intercity 125 is probably the better option for the space. So I think, given that Belfast to Mullingar is full with 107 people waiting here, how are we looking up this way? Do we need more trains in this line? We could probably get away with one, but I don't think we're gonna. We have 58 people in here. The trains aren't full. How much is it to run one of these guys per year? 2.2. If I swapped you out for an Intercity 125, 4.9 for one of these guys. Capacity is not much higher. I think we're maybe going to do this, is what we're going to do. I think we're going to put a nice sort of dark green Intercity 125 on this line. I think 28, it's a lot of money. We're spending a lot of money here. We're playing a very dangerous game given the fact that we don't have a lot of money left. But I think that's going to be a good thing to do. I think that's going to be okay. It's a very good looking train, which is nice. As long as it makes money, it'll continue to be a very good looking train. If it doesn't, we're going to have to start selling some things because I'm not willing to lose just yet. I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have a ton of money and I have to be mindful of that, though. I'm going to be honest. I've said it before. Oh my God, how have we got more planks in here? You know what? It doesn't matter. I've said it before. You know, usually we get to this point of the game and it's like, hey, you've got $1 billion. You're never going to have any challenge. It's nice having a bit of a challenge here. It's also intimidating. Although, to be fair, we don't have that many lines that are losing us an absolute ton of money. The Limerick Food to Belfast line is one of them. So I think what I'm going to do is sell the vehicle on that line. We'll keep that line in here, but I think it can go away. And I think I'm also going to do the same thing with Dublin Food to City. This line, I mean, how much are these trucks per year? 127,000. We have 8 of them, so let's say about 1 million. Let's sell these trucks, and you know what? Let's get rid of that Dublin Food to City line. We're not going to be recreating it. Dundalk Food to City is sort of going to be the same thing. Sell the trucks and delete the line. And honestly, I want to say same thing in here. Limerick Food to Belfast is just going to go away because we're not going to be doing it that way again. And so now Mullingar Plastic to Goods is a big money sink. Oiled Plastic is a big money sink. Planks Tools City is a money sink, but I think that's because one of the trains was just getting started. The Mullingar Fuel to City, Castlebar Fuel to City, both losing a ton of money. Galway Goods to City losing a ton of money. Dundalk Fuel to City. I mean, we're losing a lot. There's a lot of negative balances in here, but we have got $18.2 million here. 15 million on London to Belfast by plane. London Steel to Machines is doing a bunch. We're doing okay at the top end of things, but what I'm noticing is we have this nice big cluster of plus 17 million down to plus 1 million. Then we have a bunch of, 800,000, but it drops very quickly to be less than 100,000 on a lot of these. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of negative several 100,000. So I think we have some things to figure out. We have some balancing to do in here because this is still a bit of a problem. We're still, there's a lot of money being lost here. That plastic to goods line for the Mullingar plastic to goods line is struggling a little bit. This guy's downgrading again. This guy's downgraded twice now, which is really not good. That's really, really, really not good. This is a bunch of traffic trying to get out of here. How will we get so much traffic just around here? I don't quite understand what's going on with that. This is just generally not good for traffic. So you know what we're going to do just before we move to wrap things up for today, because we're getting on a little bit, we're going to just flatten some terrain right here, bulldoze this guy, and we're going to move that station along a little bit. We'll do 2 platforms on the left. We'll make it 30 meters long, and I want it to be right there is what I'm looking for. And there we go. This looks a little bit better as far as I'm concerned. Some of the traffic's a little bit confused about what to do, but hopefully this is going to be better for traffic getting into this facility, and hopefully it helps clear out some of this traffic just by having some more lanes down here, although I'm not entirely convinced because there's a lot more traffic on this upper road in Mullingar Castlebar than I was really hoping was going to be here. This is not ideal, but it might be a problem for another time. Okay, so not all of my efforts to improve traffic today have worked out, is how I'm going to choose to describe them. They haven't necessarily worked out. This road, for example, is coming down. That's those buildings just way in the background. That's Londonderry. This traffic's coming towards Dundalk and sort of heading left there towards Mullingar. It's better in the sense that this traffic isn't in Dundalk, but it's worse in the sense that it is slowing down my trucks that are coming down here for stone for our brick production. And I'm not entirely sure why. There's not really enough traffic on this roundabout, I don't think, to warrant this. It might just be that the roundabout's too small. It might just be that the lane math is a little bit off. It could just be that the traffic, the drivers are idiots. It's most likely that I'm an idiot, but I'm going to, for now, choose to believe that they are the idiots. But at the very least, like I said, traffic in Dundalk itself is better, although it looks like someone has built a road connecting to, hold on a minute. Hold on. Nope. I'm doing the outro bit here. I'm not putting up with these nasty, hold on a minute. I forgot to do this because that is not being a thing. Absolutely not. Absolutely. Where was I? Hold on a minute. We were down here. We were like here. There we go. Professional. There we go. Perfect. No, like it never happened at all. However, something that is happening is a bit of an increase in the amount of traffic going from Dublin to Dundalk, and it's backing up as it heads towards our nice big roundabout up there, which I don't love, but this is, at the very least, moving, right? It's not a tailback, it's just a lot of traffic. I mean, it's a tailback technically, but it's not at a complete standstill, at least not here. It is a little bit further up, but we'll not pay too much attention to that. I guess my point is very simply that we have improved some things. We've tried to improve some other things. Parts of my plan worked, parts of my plan didn't. But at the very least, we have got some trains moving around that are making money. We have the brick production in Belfast, which continues to expand. We're starting to bring goods to Belfast, and the goods production is increasing again now that traffic has been solved on the upper part of Castlebar. So things are, every pun intended, very much on the right track. And so that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.